The newest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Fantastic Four: First Steps, has hit theaters and it's, well, fantastic.
Say that again?
The Fantastic Four has always seemed to struggle on the big screen. There were obviously the two Fox films in the 2000s and then the disastrous Fan Four Stick. But if there's somewhere for the Fantastic Four to thrive, it is the MCU, and I am happy to say that we finally have a great film for these characters. I just want to start with the casting, which I'll admit I was very hesitant on, honestly up until I saw the movie. I thought Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards was just a very dull casting. I thought Joseph Quinn seemed a little bit unproven, but I was dead wrong. The cast is by far the best part of this movie. Not only are Pedro Pascal and Joseph Quinn awesome, but the standout here is Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. I've always loved her in a lot of things, but something about this performance was just different. Her chemistry with Pedro Pascal was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and I just can't emphasize enough how great not just her, but this entire cast is. Also, Julia Garner, who I also love, delivers a phenomenal performance in the limited screen time she's given. At times you can emotionally connect with her, and at other times you can be straight up afraid of her, and that's hard to do. Ralph Ineson as Galactus is also as intimidating as it gets. I guess all he really has to do for this performance is give a deep, low voice, but he does that masterfully, and really does a great job of translating the Galactus that we know from the comics to the big screen for the first time. His character design is also phenomenal, which leads me into my next point, which is how amazing the visuals are in this movie. Like, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this may be the overall most visually stunning movie in the entire MCU. It's crazy to be able to say that after all these years and brilliant movies, that one of them is still finding ways to do something better than all of them, but I really do think that is the case here. First of all, I think the retro futuristic New York City vibe is just sleek and really beautiful to look at. I don't usually get caught up in settings and atmospheres, especially not in an MCU movie, but it's hard not to when everything looks so amazing. This especially includes the Baxter Building, which is just designed, decorated, and shot to perfection. I really don't think it's possible to have done a better job than this. Then there's the scenes that take place in space, which isn't a huge portion of the movie, but that actually makes it more impactful, as the few minutes we do spend there are truly breathtaking in every sense of the word. Not to get into spoiler territory here, but there's a scene featuring a black hole, and I've heard some Interstellar comparisons thrown around for it, and while I wouldn't go that far, I will say that scene alone makes the price of IMAX admission worth it. Like, if you aren't watching this movie on the biggest screen possible this weekend, then you're not going to experience everything there is to take in with this movie. But I think that even despite all the visuals and casting and performances, I think my favorite part of this movie is actually Michael Giacchino's score. I mean, holy crap. It's one of the best MCU scores, bar none, and it just fits into and elevates every scene it's in, which luckily is just about all of them. It's so whimsical when it needs to be, fantastical, no pun intended, but it can also get dark and ominous. It's so versatile, and I've already been listening to it a ton. Also, I think one of the things that the story does best is establish a very real and palpable threat and tense atmosphere starting at the introduction of Galactus. Once it's laid out where the movie is going to go from there, and this is in the trailers, that Galactus is coming to Earth, it's very intense and, dare I say, a little bit scary, the helpless desperation that the movie makes you feel as this giant is coming and the smartest people on Earth don't know a way to stop him. If I had to grasp for any negatives, I'd say that firstly, I think that maybe the movie could have been a little bit longer. I'm not talking anything crazy, just 10-15 minutes. And I say that for a couple reasons. The main one being that I just wanted more of this world, of these characters. I don't think Johnny or Ben Grimm really got enough to do or enough time to shine. I think that this world, as beautiful as it is and as great of a job as the opening sequence does of setting it up, could use a little bit more fleshing out. Plus, a couple side characters like Sarah Niles' character and Paul Walter Hauser's Mole Man don't even get enough screen time for their inclusion to feel justified. And I know I'm not suggesting anything that wouldn't have been practical to do. The movie's only an hour and 55 minutes long, which actually makes it one of the top 5 shortest MCU movies to date. I will say, though, that I think as a whole, the movie is very well written overall, and the shorter runtime does allow for an especially tight and brisk pacing that is not exactly a calling card for the MCU. That fast pacing does raise one problem, though, and is probably my only actual problem with the movie, and it's that the timing here is very ambiguous. What I mean by that is that the movie does a good job early on of showing you the passage of time by using music to tell you it's Halloween and snow to tell you it's winter. But at a certain point, you can't tell how much time is passing, how long the Earth has until Galactus arrives, and that does have an impact on the movie. It does suck the weight out of some of the stakes at points. Heck, the one thing that really even made me think about it is that Franklin, the supposedly newborn baby, a couple minutes after being born, is already sitting there not only holding his head up on his own, which is something babies can only do after a few months, but he's already got a full-grown head of hair and looks like he's 1 year old at least. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, and a full year really does pass in this movie, but it is unnecessarily vague how much time is passing. I know that's a very specific gripe that I'm probably the only one that's going to even care about, but I can't just praise the movie for this whole video. But overall, the Fantastic Four First Steps is another hit for the MCU that really can't seem to miss right now with their movies. TV shows, that's another story, but the movies recently have been great. This film has a really emotional core, beautiful casting and performances, it looks amazing, and it has one of the best scores in the entire MCU. My final score for the Fantastic Four First Steps is an 8.4 out of 10. I know this is just my opinion, and I would love to hear yours. Did you like this new film? Did you dislike it? I really do want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this, and God bless.